All right, so let's begin. So hair is probably what I'm going to be working on. So let's get my bearings before I start. So we're just taking these back. Probably just go up to 100% on these. If I go a bit larger, I can use the edge of it just to dial down the ends a little bit. And again, this image is high res, so we are, I guess there's a different approach when you've got such a high res image. It's better to take a little bit more care and alright, I got to sort out that, but I'll leave that for now. I'm gonna reduce. This was a 5 light setup, a clamshell at the front, so like a light pointing down, and then one pointing up. And you can see it in his eyes. This is the one pointing up. The other one was high enough that it didn't really register. And then I had a light on the background and 2 strip lights behind him. And that's why, well, you know, at this sort of high res you would probably see it anyway, but the hairs on his ears, that's the back lights picking those up. Which is not really, yeah, I didn't really want that. But that's what's picking up around the hair and things like that. So I've got a soft edge to the brush, so I'm just cutting in. And this is quite a good example of when you've got a high-res image. Like here, you can sort of see that the hairs are about 3 pixels in width, something like that, the thicker ones. Here it's very fine, but there is no real edge. You know, okay, there is an edge, but you know, maybe it's about 3 or 4 pixels as it shades as the light wraps around. So it's not. I would argue that when you're editing high-res images and you want them beautifully done, which is where I want this to be, and I want to be editing it. If you make a selection, like, you know, you could say, well, just make a selection. There is no real edge to this. It's a very, if the mask that we made would be a very soft edge here, and yeah, I think Photoshop and the beta version, maybe this version, the selections are getting better, but it will use, yeah, it's either uploading your image to their server and making a selection and giving you a selection, or it's doing something. But yeah, I would argue with things like this, you know, making all that selection, then doing it is probably not worth the effort. You might as well just go around in a soft brush and just do it. But you have to weigh up things like that. Like this image here, if I have, like, I've got to do the background, and then the selection will come in handy. I'll need a selection to be able to smooth out the background, which is what I want to do. So I have to have some sort of selection. So you can start making that now, but I tend to, with portraits like this and with the background, is I sort out the background at a later stage. No, let's just dial that down a bit. Again, these are minor things, but I think we sorted most of this out before. I probably make that curve a bit better, but I try to basically do all the retouching like this first, and then I make the changes later for the other stuff. So here I'm just getting any of the highlights that go into the zip away. So again, there's a bit more of an understanding. I know it's just a zip, but if I take these highlight areas away from the zip, then again it's simpler. Take it from there. So here I'm just trying to take any of these highlighted areas away, so sort of separating the zip from the material, I guess. Let's go down a little bit more. Again, I'm going to be taking the blue out of this anyway. So. All right, let's go back to the hair because I'm getting distracted. Let's go to about 70%. Just take some of these out. Here. Not too much, but all right. So yeah, when I've done model shots and things like that in the past, I would say a lot of it is doing what I'm doing now. So you take that line there, and then you are manually taking that hair out. And so far, I have not found that Photoshop can do this reliably. Okay, like if you just need a hair taken out, and or you could even get away with doing it at high res and doing it very quickly and not very accurately. And then if it's going on the web and it's a smaller, once you reduce that image, it hides any mistakes. That's one way of getting around it. But if it's a high-res image, then this is the only way that I've found where really you can rely that it's gone, or that. And what I usually do is I'll take out any hairs that are very distracting, and then I'll draw my own. So if let's say I take a hair out here and I didn't do such a good job, or there's a ghost of it still there, or maybe it's too smoothed out and there isn't enough definition there, I just manually put my own hairs over the top and sort of blend it through. When you really come down to it, other than the lines of an actual hair like this, most of this is just texture. So as long as you can see here, like I'm just continuing the line. As long as you keep that texture in there, it will hide anything that maybe haven't done that well. You'll get away with a lot, basically. See, and there's a bit of a copy. All right. But here I don't want to go over the top. Like when you're doing a high-end model shot and you really need every hair in place, then I can, like, it depends what type of hair they've got as well and what style. Like the hair that I think it looks very beautiful is curly hair, but curly hair obviously has a lot of structure to it, and you're fighting a losing battle to make it look neat. But straight hair, that's a different thing. Then you can really go to the point where it's perfection. Which I have done on many occasions. It can take, you get into a rhythm, but you're looking at, for a really high-end hand-edited image where I guess you could say you look at it and you know that the hair is perfect, but you accept that it's perfect. I guess that's when you've edited it very well, that it just looks natural. It looks like how it was shot. Obviously it is impossible to have the hair perfect, but then you're looking at a good sort of 5-hour edit from start to finish to get that sort of perfection. And whatever tools, I don't care, once you're at this sort of quality, whatever tools you're using to try and remove a hair, if you go across like that and it hasn't done a good job, you have to redo it, or say, okay, all right, I try again. The technique that I'm doing, I think in the long run, if you're doing the whole head, I will beat the person relying on more of a automated. And plus, I know what I've done. Like, they will be basically you click wait, and then here it's just a better feel I spend my life now just having to justify actual editing, rather than why don't you use the remove tool, or why don't you use this tool, or select it, and the AI and this plugin will. And yeah, I get it, but if you just rely on these tools from the get-go, from the beginning, what are you going to do when it doesn't do what you need it to do? What happens when it fails, and your tool, what technique do you have to solve that problem? I know I can do it manually, and yeah, I can rely on the small images, and things that don't matter. Maybe I lean on those more, but I don't have to. I know how to manually edit, and there isn't really anything that I load up and think I can't do it. It's just time. And maybe, don't get me wrong, I've been editing for years, but, I still go on YouTube and look up a problem that I have. But the difference between me doing it and someone who's still learning Photoshop is I look at it and go, okay, all right, cool. And I go back and do it. Are you going to use that technique? Can you use that tool? All right, I see. That's a good idea. That's a good way of doing it. I'll go and try that out. I haven't got to sit there and go, okay, what tool is that? I'm not learning Photoshop. I'm just looking at the method that someone's used and then going, okay, yeah, I'll try that. And I think you should also, any time you get, dare I say it, good at a piece of software, you should embrace other people's approaches. You shouldn't then say I know it all. I don't. I spend a lot of time looking up techniques or seeing how someone else has done it. You also have to train yourself to use that new technique if it's better, because you get stuck in your ways. You get stuck in your ways, and then when you solve a problem in the same way, and you have to sort of teach yourself to use a better technique, to remember it, I guess. All right. This is where you sort of have to make these decisions. So look, I've got 3 hairs here, one going there, one going there, one going there, and this one we're going to take out, obviously. So I could just take this hair out and leave these 2. I would say it's nicer if these hairs went there and these 3 hairs went out, but then that's, so what I would do for this, I'm at 80%, so I would take these out at certain points here. Okay. I'll do a new layer. Oh. I'll probably sample here. Okay, and then we can take out this hair. It's just a quick way of keeping the texture back in. Let's go up to 80. actually forget that. I'll just manually do it. And I went back on that technique of sort of separating the hair out and then using the clone the heel tool, I think it's called. It's good, but yeah, it sometimes creates a texture or unnatural texture. Also, it happens so fast that like now as I do it, I can see if I'm getting any copies or anything like that. I usually use the other tool for larger areas. I separate it up and then alright, let's go down a little bit and just blend this. See, I've got a bit of a copy there. And that's just, sometimes you actually just want to make, let's go down to 30% and just blend this a little bit. All right. All right, so now we've got to sort out these hairs here. So we really want to be small and maybe like 60%. And yeah, you've really, like, it's a tedious thing, but you've got to hide that hair. And this is where you can get rid of it as much as you can, but you can, so I'll try and put a bit of, oh, actually no, let's just carry on getting rid of it. Let's take a bit from there, maybe. With things like this, you have to just believe in it a little bit. So it's not going to look good straight away. That's something you've also got to learn when you're editing at a very high quality. You know, it's passes. You're going to do one pass and then another pass and then another pass. And then maybe like this is not looking as good as you would like. So then you can, you know, draw your manual hairs over the top to blend it a little bit. So, you know, don't expect this to look amazing straight out. So like here, I could, hang on, let's just get that. I'm going to dial this one down a little bit. All right, we're going to leave it like that for now, and then I'm going to draw on my own hairs later. So let's dial this one. Oh, that's not good. So I'm going to add another layer here and call it hair. And what was this for? Oh yeah, that's just so I can see what I've done. All right, let's go back down to here and again go up to 8%. these. And hide this one. Yeah, we're gonna it looks like I've already edited some of these out and they're not quite gone, but it isn't. It's just let's go up to 100%. Take this one out. I also have to make sure that I don't overdo it. Oh. Oh. You just want to continue that black edge. There you go. Like that. Alright, we're going to sort that out later. I'm going to dull this one down a bit. No, I'm going to take it out. This one, and this one, and then that needs to go across there. That needs to go in here, and then that. Like that. So you're sort of following where that hair goes and trying to take out the whole something like that. Alright, we can take these out. Alright, let's go to 100% and do a bit around here. And then I'll have a look how we're doing. Again, I don't want to overdo it too much. Let's go to 80. I'll take this out. Take these out. Let's go to 100%. Take this one out. Let's go to 70. This one can go. All right, and here again, we're just, let's go to 50 and take just these away a little bit. This is all with the clone tool. It's probably my most used tool when I'm doing editing like this. Like, this is really like just pure editing. This is painting. All right, we're gonna blend. Let's go up to 80 because we want to blend. That's it. Let's go to 30 and just take that back a little bit. All right, and we have got this sort of bit of like a fold of hair. I'm probably just gonna take that out. I don't think it's really necessary. All right, let's see how we're doing. All right, I see another one that would be quite good if it was gone. Let's take that there and that there. That one can be dulled back a bit. Actually, I just cut in to there. All right, eyelashes. Will my eyebrows be that bushy? Sorry, Dad. Okay, so look, there's these two hairs here that I don't like, and then that's sort of done. And then, this all stays the same, really. Again, I don't want to go too far, but like if we just show what I've done now, it's really, again, like it doesn't look like much, but if you just take these out, hopefully, like if we look at the face here and we got this here, and then I take those out, I like to think that this becomes more interesting. Again, it's all about simplicity. If you make this less complicated, and bring it towards simplicity and structure where nothing is distracting or jarring, then the interesting area, the eyes, they are more interesting. There's more going on here. That's why I probably leave the eyebrows as they are. This is where you're engaging, and really for high-end editing, where especially for this shot, I want the eyes to be the focus. That's how you do it. I would try. It's quite dark shot, so I'm not sure how much I can bring out on the eyes, but that's where I'm forcing you, but I'm tricking you. I'm tricking you to naturally draw your eyes into there by changing the environment around it. So there's intent of what I'm doing. There's a very worrying trend in the way that Adobe are approaching creative editing. And I get it, like they're trying to simplify it so anyone can pick up Photoshop and do it. And great, that's a nice way for people to get into it. And I understand that, but I guess I also, it's jarring. As in, let's say on the beta now, from what I've read. I don't use the betas because I need stable versions. Also, I had loads of trouble when I installed the beta, but I think they've solved that. But anyway, on actions. So in Photoshop, you have actions. I have actions to make these two curve layers. That you sort of highlights, you can see what you've done, and anyway. And at the moment, all it does is like a recorder. So you do something, or you can download them, and someone else has recorded what they've done, and you're just playing a recording of what you clicked. So I basically made these, and then all I need to do is rerun the action, and it makes them and puts them in the position. It's a little bit more complicated than that, as in you have to do it correctly, otherwise it would start making it really is a recording of a moment in time. So if I was to run this when I'm on this level, these will be above it, but if I was to run the action on the lab here, it would be above this layer. So it really is doing exactly the run, and that can cause problems, but in essence that's what it's doing. But now they have a AI option where it will analyze your picture and suggest things that you can do. And yeah, I don't know, that just feels wrong. Why does it feel wrong? I'll tell you why. It's because it's not it's too easy. Yeah, when something becomes easy enough, then you'll take the easy route. And okay, that's, if you've already learnt Photoshop and you give me an easier route to do something and it works, then great. But if you don't know Photoshop and they give you an easier route, then you don't I would argue that not everyone can edit like I do, like this, and get it. And if the only tools you're going to use are AI tools that are doing most of the work for you, and the thinking, that's, I load up an image, I don't know what to do with it. Tell me what to do with it. Okay, yeah, I'll do that to it. Or I choose between these different options that you've given me, and I like that one the most. That's like having me sat next to you, and I'll suggest things to you, and you go, I like that one. If you're learning Photoshop, then that's a bad route to take. You're not going to learn anything. You're going to rely on it so much. You load that image, I haven't any knowledge of what this may look good or how to edit this. I just tell me what to do. You're not going to learn anything. And you'll rely on it more and more. It's just and we're all bad at doing this, and the trouble is, it's a double-edged sword. I have dyslexia, and I heavily use AI in the last 6 months. Yeah, that's badly done. Where was it? Yeah, okay. So I can speak into my mic and say what I want to write, and I can say it in a very natural way that I'm saying now, and then I have a prompt which will which sort of understands a little bit of how I would like to, my approach of saying it, and then I'll say, can you write this in a professional way and correct any spellings, and off it goes. And it is very good. And back in the day, it could take me if it's a very important email, and it's it's a very important email and I need to get it out, it could take me an hour to 2 hours to fine tune this email so there was no spelling mistakes. There's we are all who we are. Creativity has never really been too much of a problem for me. I look at this, and even when I was learning it, it's not as if I look at my images and I don't know what I'm wanting to do. I have in my head where I want this to go, and I have a feeling. I'm very technical in my approaches, but I have come to realize that I'm not really just technical. There's a feeling to it, a natural feeling. So when I'm editing here, I'll look and I go, okay, yeah, that one will come out. I just know, I guess. There isn't a indecisive part of the process. I have quite a clear creative image, and I think that comes at the cost of dyslexia. You can't be good at everything, and to be good at this and to have a natural approach on anything creative, if you give me it, I can produce. I like to argue, beautiful work. It isn't as much of a challenge as, let's say, someone who isn't that. But yeah, I think that's just the way that my brain works, and part of that is the outcome, or the other side of that is that, yeah, I have dyslexia, and AI has helped massively in overcoming that and being able to write and produce written articles, emails, social media at a lot quicker rate than I'd ever be able to without it. And I'm very, I guess I embrace the AI side of that. But for me, it's a tool. I am still saying what I want to say. I'm not saying make up a post for me. I am finding a post, and then, which I sometimes takes more time than actually making it, and then I speak to it. This is what I think. This is what I want to write. I actually say the post. I speak the whole thing to it, like I am now, and then I have certain ways that I speed up the process of me having to type that out in a less spoken way, in a more professional way, which would take me too long if I was having to do it with my dyslexia. So I get it. There's going to be people who find creative processes hard, and these open the doors for them in exactly the same way as AI has opened the doors for me. So I think we all need to understand that you can't say that it isn't benefiting. It is to many people, but the but is when you're a professional and you start finding yourself, let's say I decide not to do this. I don't need to edit to this degree. I can use all the tools. And then, I don't know, there's as long as you're using it to support what you're doing, if you're a professional, then that's good. But replacing yourself is harder. And there's something even worse, being forced to replace yourself. So if everyone else uses the AI approach of the quick, answer, which, don't get me wrong, like, there's a place for everything. If there's a job and there's a not that much of a budget, and you can still offer that client, that I had an artist, and all the images for a website were all too, the quality wasn't good enough. So I used ways to enlarge the image, and I heavily used plugins to get me there. I guess that's a bit sort of how you do it anyway. But that sort of approach where there isn't a budget for it, you can help out because you have the knowledge, and you go, okay, well, maybe we do this, and then your images will be better, and they will look better on the website, and that's the solution for the budget you have. But then I should have the option to say when a client, it needs to be special. I should also approach it like this. I shouldn't be forced into, okay, well, I'll do it at half the cost, and I'll use all these other tools, and I won't really know how it's editing it, but I'll just chuck this thing out at you, and it's cost you X amount cheaper, and you can spend that on other budgets, and off you go. And I've been pressured into doing that because costs have come down so much, because everyone is using the quick fix, and no longer can I charge someone that amount of time to do something because it's no longer acceptable. That's a dangerous. I hope we don't. I hope we don't go there. And I hope we don't get to the point where we are no longer deciding, like, I get up, I don't know what to eat, or ask AI. How long do I need to sleep, or ask AI. What things should we do today? I don't know. Is there anything on? I don't know. Let's ask AI. I've got all these clothes. I'll take a picture of it. Tell me an outfit to wear with these colors. Ask AI. Oh my God, it's like the more you naturalize asking AI, the more you can do it. Like I even feel it now that I'm not sure how to ask AI. So yeah, the action, the new action, it's not good, and I sort of understand why Adobe are just doing it. Like the pressure, if they don't, and someone else does. Oh, that's an hour. This one's a long one. I was going to do half an hour slots. This one have to be an hour slot. Hair. I'll do this one on hair. All right, so if I do an hour, so I've got 10 minutes. So I was gonna try and keep these to half an hour, but I really feel that no one's gonna be watching. I guess these are more for me than just. All right, so we need to sort out that. All right, so these hair here I'm gonna take out. We're on 100%, so I'll probably come down to 80. And also you got to think, like, this is not good up here, but like it's non-destructive editing, so you can, if there's some area where it's not looking good and it's just not working, then just leave it for now. Yeah, come back to it. It doesn't have to be all done at the same time. I'd argue maybe it's a good idea to try and do it in that area and finish it off, because then you don't forget, and also you're in the thought process of that area. Like there's, you know, once you start editing hair, it's quite good to continue editing hair, because you get into a routine of how you are editing that. Like the zone, I guess. Oh. You can see I just follow that hair all the way here, and then let's go down to 3, and we can just take out some of the white. So here we want to just take that down a little bit. Let's go up to 6 and just hide that. 1 maybe. 20%. All right, we're sort of getting there. So, like if we, what was that? Oh yeah, that's taken out there. Okay, I'm just gonna join. Is this just hair? No. Oh yeah, it is. So I'm just going to join these. So I'm just merging the layers. How long have I got? Oh, I've still got 7 minutes. So yeah, we're getting there. So I start to see where, so these need to be shortened. So I'll keep them, and maybe this one's shortened as well. There's one hair here. That's a bit bright, but other than that, it's done really. I probably, this darker area here, I'll smooth out, but I just draw my own hair over the top of that. But other than that, hair is done. Yeah, what I do need to do though is I need to mess it up a little bit. So I might bring some of these back in. Yeah, because they're looking a little bit too neat. I like that these two are gone. But also, yeah, like I can draw my own in. So I'll probably try that. Again, with things like this, there's no clear answer. You just got to have a look. Like if it was a model shot, then this would be the way I'm going. But it's my dad, and I still want to keep the messiness, I guess, a little bit. But also you got to get used to it. If I turn this off and you start working with it, but yeah, at the moment it feels a bit too neat. Anyway, so all right, let's shorten these up here. No, actually, let's take this bright hair out. Maybe I don't want to take it out. I just want to dull it down a little bit. I don't really have a quick solution for that. I guess I can just dull it down a little bit. Like this. Also, that hard edge, if I take that out, I'm probably... So yeah, let's do that. It's probably I've over sharpened it when I've bought, or yeah, I've just. And it's a balance, isn't it? Like if you have the sharpness too low, then you've got to sharpen it up later on, and I don't know, maybe that's then you can specifically choose what you want sharp and what you don't. But I made the decision. This is what I have. I'm not going back because then I'd have to re-edit everything. All right, so I'm taking that edge down. Let's take that edge down here. Let's go to 70% and also take it here. We can even make the hair slightly thinner. All right, let's pull back. Perfect. Also here we can take that back. Let's go to 20 and just dial down that. So all I'm doing here is I want to keep these hairs in it. But I want to take them to tone them down, I guess. 70 worked quite well. And we can also just thin this out. All right, that's probably good. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, as you can see, like it's just a small change, but then it just drifts back. You don't really notice them. It feels right. Off we go. All right, how long have I got? I've got 2 minutes. So yeah, I think here I'll probably go to 100% and just choose where I'm going to cut them off. Maybe there. Here. And I'm just going to cut this off a little bit. Probably that will do. Maybe this one as well. Not to know. Yeah. Maybe here. Yeah, that's good. pretty sure that that's generally it. I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to go to 50, and we're just going to dial down. Maybe that's a bit high. Let's delete that. And let's go to 20. Yeah, that's good. We just lighten up. And then here, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go down to 10, and we're just going to... you can also just draw the whole color and then just use the show through. Well, I can show you later. So what we could do is actually draw. Yeah, this works better. We probably need our hairbrush here. Yeah, here we go. So this is a good example of yeah, let's do the transfer. Okay, that's better. So we can take a highlight and we can just draw on our own hairs. So we pick a highlight color, and then we want to be at 2. So this is 2 pixels. And then we can also take a darker color. So I'm just telling it to take one point. So now when I pick this, yeah, see, I get the... And then we want a really highlight color like this, and then we can... And now we need to... Alright. So we can see we just lighten those 2 areas up a little bit. That's pretty good for now. That is, yeah, an hour. I'll make the next one half an hour. But I think we're getting there. So this is all the editing. I need to mess up his hair a little bit here. I'll probably try just doing that with the hairbrush, like drawing on my own. If that doesn't work, I'll bring back some of the others. Here, I'm going to tone that down a little bit. The eyebrows, I think I'm going to just leave them. There's 1 hair here, 2 there, but I think maybe I'll remove this one. I think that's about it. And then, yeah, a bit of color grading. I've got to take this blue out. And then the background, which I'll probably lighten up here a little bit. But that's quite a lot of work. Generally, what I do is I pick a color here and I just build it up, and then I blend it out. So I sort of use the background that I have as a template or a background to draw a new background on, if that makes sense. Because if you look here, look, you can see the paper. It's not totally flat. It's a roll, and I find that sometimes it's not so bad when it's dark, but you can see this sort of ripple in the background, and I generally sort of just take that out. You can't really see it on this one. Maybe I can see it. You won't with the compression of the video and what YouTube does to it. I doubt that it'd be much use watching me do the background, because it would just be bands of color by the time it goes through the process. Anyway, I shall see you on the next one.